I think most cyclists either have too many bikes or not enough. And I think the right number is 3. February forced the math, and it all perfectly fits my riding style. When it's minus something out there, the roads are hostile, and skipping a ride, well, it'd be an entirely reasonable act. But that's when you find out how many bikes you actually need. If you've been riding through the seasons with me, you probably saw this coming. And if you're new here, well, this is basically how I think about riding. I'd genuinely like to know where you land on this. What's the perfect number for your style? Am I missing something in my 3 that's pretty obvious? This aluminum fat bike doesn't pretend to be anything other than my practical tool to survive all that a harsh 4 months of winter can dish out. It's not particularly elegant, not really the fastest thing either, and, well, if I'm honest, probably doesn't photograph particularly well. It survives, and now I have some cleaning to do before storing. Studded tires, wide footprint, zero concern for cosmetic perfection. It exists for one purpose: ride when the reasonable part of my brain suggests otherwise. This is what this bike is for. Salt, sand, ice ruts, slush, 4 months of winter mess. The kind of conditions that would quietly destroy something shinier, something made of steel. And that matters more than I expected, because if winter means risking your nice steel bike, then you hesitate, you negotiate, you refresh the weather app just one more time. When you have a bike built for punishment, you just go. And there's something oddly respectful about cleaning off a winter bike at the end of the season. It's kind of like thanking it for carrying you throughout the months that most people opt out of. Mission complete until next year. But survival isn't the same as continuity. Winter, it's really only 1/3 of my equation, and that's where the Wednesday comes in. This early Wednesday is my post-apocalyptic, fleeing from zombies, point and pedal survival machine. If society collapses tomorrow, this is the bike I'm taking. It's not glamorous, and it ain't the fastest, that's for sure. But I can fix it, and for now, I have to replace pads on mechanical brakes, grease the headset to eliminate an annoying squeak, check the chain. Basically, if something goes wrong in the rides ahead, I can usually solve it with some basic tools. Mild stubbornness. This is what the bike is for. Continuity. If it's wet or dry, somewhere in between, snowy trail, it's not optimized for any one single condition. Rather, it's optimized for just go, just ride. And that turns out to be incredibly powerful. Friction. It isn't the hills, it's decision fatigue. If every ride requires a setup debate, should I take this or ride with that, you end up riding less. The Wednesday, it removes that debate. You point, you pedal, you roll, possibly while fleeing zombies. If I only had this one bike though, it would always be slightly compromised. Too heavy in summer, too specialized in winter. Perhaps too something. Three bikes means no one bike has to pretend to be everything. And then there's the Karate Monkey, the ambitious, I'll say even experimental, stokes curiosity. Essentially, the Karate Monkey to me is possibility. This is the bike, a platform bike. I've already installed the 24-pack rack to add some capability. Now I'll add a Brooks saddle. Different wheel sizes? Sure. Single speed for a month. Why not? More aggressive tires? Yeah. Let's see what happens. With this kind of versatility, it doesn't just handle change, it invites it. This is what this bike is for. Curiosity. Winter might be endurance. Summer? Oh, it's more about expansion. And this bike makes me want to go out there, test some things. What if I simplified it? How about even complicated it? What if I stopped optimizing for survival and started optimizing for some fun? After months of managing harsh conditions, experimentation feels, well, generous. Feels like momentum is returning. So here's the case. One bike blasts through winter. Another one, well, it smooths out that unpredictability. The other bike presents ambition. 3 rolls, 3 problems solved. More than that, well, the maintenance, well, it just multiplies. The decisions multiply, and with more decisions, just gets more tiring. And attention, divides across all the bikes and you don't end up riding half of them anyways. But fewer than 3? Well, then compromise creeps in. Tend to skip rides because the setup isn't quite right or can't go where I want to go. 3, to me, well, it's the number that removes all friction. So it's more about less resistance, not because I need another bike. And if you're following along for what this season turns into, this is where it starts. The fat bike, it's now cleaned up, ready to be stored. The Wednesday, it remains ready. Zombies are not. And the Karate Monkey is poised for some new challenges. Some longer light, drier trails, less salt, more ideas. This is the part of the year that feels like momentum is picking up pace, acceleration. Not because I ride harder, but rather the constraints are loosened. 3 bikes made me a more consistent rider. Not necessarily a better one. It's the consistency. That's what builds seasons. So if this is the beginning of summer, I think I'm ready. If you're curious where this goes next, longer rides, different setup, maybe a few experiments, stick around. It's going to be a good season, pedaling the long way.